I love this part of the day. We started it. Well, maybe it was done in other conferences. But we started it in our gathering in Atlanta in January last year, and it was called C3 Stories. I just love hearing from you. Yeah. So we've asked 3 couples. So first of all, Tyler and Emma, would you come up here? So Emma comes from good stock. She's Canadian, and she was part of Lorne and Kelly's church for years. And she married Tyler Weeks, who was, the whole family were members of the church in Atlanta. So Emma and Tyler, this is called Planting Church in a Pandemic. Yeah, that's right. That's what it is. Pandemic. Yeah, that's right. So tell us in your own words, how kind of expand on what Valerie said about the neighborhood, and then just tell us how it's going and what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all yours.
First off, thank you all so much. This is like a huge honor. Thank you, everyone.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, so a little bit, so my parents planted C3 Jacksonville in 2002. That shut its doors 4 years later. And then we were part of the first C3 Nashville in 2014 that shut its doors 4 years later. And so when we go out to plant a church, obviously that's a big fear factor personally, right? You're like, I've been a part of 2 church plants, and they both how does that not happen to us? And then throw COVID on top of that, and it's just oh man, God, this is nuts. And so, me being me, I was all right, well, let's figure this out. So you do what church planners do. All right, what organization? Are we going to do the ARC playbook? Are we going to do the loan, not the loan? Do we do the mailers? Not you really start figuring, you're just trying coach it, and you're scrambling around to try to find, and then throw COVID in it. And we hadn't really started yet. And it's do we do online? Do we not do it online? All this pressure. It's we got to go. And we're just trying to figure this out, because we don't want to, we want to plant a church that does well. I don't want to plant a church that shuts its doors. And God really early in that season brought me to I really felt he brought me to that story of the woman of the well. And we all know this story where Jesus is the woman of the well. But what we forget a lot is that the disciples weren't there when they were supposed to be, because they were too busy trying to find Jesus some food, and they were too frantically scrambling trying to find Jesus some food that they missed the miracle that Jesus was doing with the woman at the well. And they come back in the middle of this miracle, and they're going, God, Jesus, the food. And Jesus says, my food is to do the will of the Father. And that floored me, and God said, well, what's in front of you right now? And so that was our neighborhood. And so we had all this fear, or not fear, but we had all these things the plans, and we're going to do it. And God was well, what's in front of you? And so that was our neighbors. And we moved our area. If you guys don't know, everyone's moving to Florida right now. Go Florida, it's just something called freedom. It's really nice. But anyway. And so we were in this new development, and we have 4 beautiful young kids, and everyone was new, and everyone has kids, good schools, and that's kind of how we started.
Yeah, so we opened up our home for dinner parties. Thank you to Pastor Josh and Georgie for starting that. And so it started there in our home. And Tyler keeps saying, why do people think we have church in our home? Well, we have our services outside of our home in a movie theater, but there's a lot of church that happens in our home, that is for sure. And so we welcomed our neighbors into our home and our friends into our home. And what planting in the pandemic really did, I think for all of us, what the pandemic really did was refine what was most important in life. And so for us, it refined that what was most important was loving people and pointing them to Jesus. And so it actually refined my prayer for what we were doing as we were launching a church. And it is a prayer that is the same as a mom, as a wife, as a daughter of God. But I refined my prayer to say, God, please soften my heart, because the pain will come. People will leave. But God is the Redeemer, and he can restore. So soften my heart, thicken my skin, because the devil is the author of lies, and the lies will come. The accusations will come, and it's things that are thrown at us, and it's things that we start to believe about ourselves. And so while my heart is soft, please keep my skin thick and protective so that that doesn't happen. Joy in my spirit so that I love what I'm doing, that I genuinely love hanging out with the people that I'm with. that I actually love showing up to church on Sundays, that I actually love opening up my home to host people and clean my toilets for them to come in repeatedly.
And we got four little kids,
four
and
little
3 of them are
kids.
boys, so that's not easy.
It's not. And then lastly, God, please just put a smile on my face so I can be like Nancy when I grow up.
So we've been in their home, and many of the people in that home for that meeting were literally their neighbours.
Yeah.
I love that. I was so inspired by it.
So we probably have 10 families in our church today that just live in our neighborhood.
Yeah. So you've gone into a public venue.
Yeah, we meet in a movie theater.
And how's that going?
Oh, it's been awesome. I mean, define, like, how's it? I would think it's good, but then Drew and Emma get up here and say, no, I'm just joking. But like, what's good, what's not good? But, you know, God's been faithful. We've been growing. We celebrate our first year, not this Sunday, but next Sunday of weekly services.
Well done.
Praise
Thanks,
God.
guys. Brilliant.
So much.
Take the mic down with you. Yes, wonderful. Well done. And now a man who lacks personality, Terrence Mullings.
Yeah, Simon.
Oh, hello, Terrence.
Missed you.
Yeah, I feel like we're neighbours almost.
We are neighbours.
We
Long
are.
time no see.
Yeah,
You only come to church every second week, though.
That's right. It's true. That's because
saying.
you only have church every second week.
That is also true.
So fire it out, boy. I'll come straight back at you. Terrence and Emma moved from Australia, and they too are planting in a pandemic. And we've been to their church. They've got a wonderful church, you know? You know, seriously. The size, it's a good size. Size doesn't bother me so much. It bothers Valerie, but... Yeah, well, I'm getting this all out of the way so Christine can be normal. So she can be a real Christian. So, sorry, Terrence. Terrence, tell us about your plan, some of the great things, some of the struggles, what's happening?
Awesome. Well, first of all, honour and privilege to be here. Emma couldn't make it. We also have 4 children.
Beautiful children.
So they are delightful. She
Beautiful
actually sent me a text this morning, and she said...
Oh, no, don't show that photo.
Not that one. That's the confirmation whether it's big or not. The church. Church. What do you mean? I'm like the only black guy here.
No. You're not black, sit down.
Oh, one more, come on.
No, it's Fillmore.
Fillmore, let's
Come
go,
on.
baby. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. Hey, come on, one more. I see that black man. Come on, baby. Bring in the calabash.
But there are any number of Spanish people here.
Hola gente de español. ¿Alguien aquí habla en español? Un placer verte. Buenos días. So, anyway, my wife did send me a text this morning. She said, the most important thing to say is my wife made everything happen and she's not there, so you're talking to the wrong person. No lie, that's exactly what she sent me. Can you believe that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Pray for her.
Yeah.
Pray for us.
Okay.
Okay, look.
Tell us your story. Get on with it.
No, real quick. I do have to clarify that I was actually born of Jamaican parents. Anyone from Jamaica? Wow, nobody. Great start. This is awesome. That's where I got this great tan from. So that's why. Just got to clarify. Look, so I'll tell you a quick little story. So born of Jamaican parents, but I was born in Australia. We moved back to Jamaica for 6 years. Then we moved to Miami, Florida. That's where God planted the seed for a love for the city and a love for other people there. Moved back to Australia. Lived in a few different places. Wagga Wagga. Anyone? Denny. It's going down really well. Then we actually got into TV and media. And I actually, when Josh and Georgie went to Plan C3 NYC, I took over her job and looking after the TV department there. And I wasn't very good. It wasn't as good as Georgie. They tried to fire me, Georgie. But I was the only black person there, so it didn't look good if they tried to let me go. Gotta love equal opportunity. That's actually true. Yeah. He says it is. He did.
It's Oh, man. They sit shameless on the front row.
They do. No, love Pastor Phil and Chris. And I say that to say, while I was there, I just felt the tap from the Holy Spirit about planting a church. Pastor Phil was talking about campuses. Well, we just love C3. It's not a building or a place you come to. It's a family you belong to. It really is. And just quickly, I remember I walked in last night. The first person who greeted me was actually Joe Pringle. And then I sat down and I saw Pastor Phil up here. And I remember every time I go to Presence Conference, seeing Pastor Phil and Joe on the same stage, I don't know, there's something about that just wrecks me. And it wrecks me because we serve a God who's a generational God. And the same God who blessed Abraham, blessed Isaac, and blessed Jacob. And I just believe that there's people who came here today thinking like, God, what do you want to do for me? So when I went on a 40-day fast in October, November 2014 to actually seek God about what he was calling us to do, God said a lot of stuff. And then we landed in a pandemic and I wasn't seeing what God has said. So what do you do when you don't see what God has said? And for me, it was going back to the pictures and the promises that he showed me. And one of those was a reminder last night because I just remembered that God always turns the hearts of the fathers back to the children. And what walks in the fathers and mothers runs in their children. I remember Pastor Phil, the first thing he did when he got up here, he started to sing. He started to worship and it shifted the atmosphere. I walk, and then you look at Joe and his children, like that anointing to bring the presence, the atmosphere runs in them. I want to tell you, if you came here today wanting what God wants to do for you, if God did it for them, he will do it for you. What walks in the fathers will run in the children. I believe that we serve a generational God. And he's the same yesterday, today, and forever. And I just believe that we're in a good place serving a great God at the right time with the right stock of people. And I look around this and I have, Simon and Val, but God is a generational God. If he did it through them, he'll do it through us.
Right, so, okay.
But
now that you've preached 3 messages.
Yes.
So tell us.
As I said, Emma said I was the wrong person. She said, I told you I was the wrong person.
He's a good preacher. He's not a very good storyteller about his church, though. He's a good preacher. Tell us just very quickly, we're in minus territory right now. You're in minus territory right now. Tell us just what sort of crowd have you gathered and...
Okay, so we landed in 2019 and we came here with our 4 children, and planning in a pandemic is filled with problems. It's filled with pressure to perform. It's filled with a whole lot of stuff when you look and the expectations of planting. And so there was a lot. We landed, my mum died in Australia. That means I had to leave Emma and the 4 kids and go back there twice. We've probably been the longest standing church plant, to get to Sunday morning in history. But there's a piece in that. Because I remember the verse God spoke in Hebrews 12:2, fix your eyes upon Jesus, not on the problems, not on the other people doing, like what's God placed in me, play your own game. Fix your eyes upon Jesus because he's both the author. So if he started this thing, he's going to finish it. And so we've been there's a piece in that. And I remember we came and Josh told us that he prayed for one divine connection every day. And God spoke that to me, just take a destiny step every day towards his presence, towards his people. So we landed in 2019, we just started meeting people. We had about 60 people in our home. We started these things called family dinners. The pandemic hits and we're like, God, what do I do? He said, don't look at the problems, fix your eyes upon Jesus. And so we realized that everyone was going through marriage problems, including us. It was challenging. Emma had a lot to learn. Simon. You understand.
I know exactly what you mean.
You know exactly what that's like.
I know exactly what you mean.
Amen. You get it.
And Philip knows exactly what you mean.
So we actually didn't look at our circumstances. We kept our eyes upon Jesus. So we actually started a marriage course.
Yeah.
We put it out there to our community, and we had so many couples. We filled out this restaurant, the one restaurant that didn't close through COVID. And we just started to build into people, and that built the most healthy, strong launch team of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it was really...
Yeah.
And the couples that came to that are strong. We did a marriage course, we did a financial peace university. We just thought, what are the felt needs? So we started speaking into that. And now we've got a launch team. We couldn't meet on Sunday morning, so we did Sunday nights. We did pop-up church. We did monthly because we didn't pack down until like 11:30 at night. So we thought, let's look after people so we don't burn them out. Then we had so much momentum. So we had 2 services, around about 130 people coming to each service. So God was really breathing on it. We went to bi-monthly services in September, and then we're planning to now launch Sunday mornings. Actually, last week, we got our trailer stolen. But again, fix your eyes upon Jesus. with all our gear. Literally everything was stolen.
It wasn't. They don't live in a trailer home. It's okay. It's a trailer. 85,000 worth of equipment.
Yeah, we
Stolen.
had all stolen, all gone. But through that, can I just say, like, if we look our eyes on Jesus, what he started, he will finish. And if you're not seeing the finished work of Jesus Christ in your marriage, in your church, in any area of your life where he promised something, you're not seeing what he said, well, he's not finished with you yet.
Yeah. Well done. Thanks, Terrence. Take the mic now. He's incorrigible, that boy. So, Drew and Emma Davies, Hope Village, Seattle. Yeah. They've got a story. They've got a story. So, you know where to go.
Okay. Well, thanks, Terrence, for taking all of our time.
Yes.
Thanks, Terrence.
We'll just try and bullet point it really quickly. Our story is pretty, you can tell it in like 2 hours if we want to really drag it out. But we moved to Seattle, about 1 week before lockdown happened, to start a church. And it was an interesting time to arrive. As we were driving up the west coast, things were locking down more and more every day. And then we got there and it locked down. So we were in a position in a city where we didn't know a single person, and we're going to start a church, and things have shut down. So God was faithful enough to bring us a couple of people that heard that we were coming, and we met with them, and we started doing a few little things online, trying to be creative as we could be in that season.
We are not online people.
We're not online people. Yes. If you're an online person, awesome for you.
I'm terrible in front of a camera, and I didn't know.
You're great in front of a camera.
Nope,
You're great
really
in front of a
not.
camera.
But yes, thank you.
Just trying to build her up, leadership.
I know what he means. I know what he means.
Yeah. And so, anyway, we more or less, from March till about end of 2020, we just met with people and did endless coffees. And we live in a very locked down place. King County is one of the most locked down counties in the country. We can't really, for a while there, we couldn't sit in cafes. We would get coffees with people and walk around outside in the 40-degree weather because we couldn't sit down in a cafe. So we were just doing coffees, endless coffees, talking about the vision of the church, inviting people to join the team, not begging people to join the team, telling people what we were going to do. And we found ourselves in our living room doing like an underground Sunday morning church around June.
It was literally a speakeasy church. Knock 3 times and whisper the code word.
Yeah. We literally were like, you can't bring your friends to this. This is not for your friends.
You cannot sit with us. Sorry.
For our team. And so we did that. We did online church, and like 7 people watched us online, and the data says like 400 people. You don't have 400 people. You have 7 people. Like you just don't. Like you don't have that many people. Like they watch for 3 seconds. That's not a person. It's not the future. It's not the future. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm getting on a thing. So we got to the point where we had, 80 or 90 people in our house, and our house is 1,800 square feet, so it's not big. And so we ended up, one of the guys in church told me there's this random Christian, because everything's shut down. There's no schools, you can't have church anywhere. Like there's hotels, everything's shut down. So we found this random Christian campsite.
Like a summer camp,
A summer camp. It was 100 years old. And it was in like a stadium seating kind of setup, and you can ask our team. There was no chairs. There was stadium. We were sitting on the carpet. So we had, wherever carpet steps.
Yeah.
Yep. And the carpet's like 45 years old.
Oh.
Like,
and smelled accordingly.
It smelled like we were having people sign waivers like there's asbestos in the carpet. Like, don't touch it. Babies are like licking it. We're like, that kid's gonna die. Like. There's mold and lead and asbestos in this building.
But God was good.
But God was good anyway. God was good. And we were there for a few months. They called us up one day and they said, we're going to have summer camps kicking in soon, and we just need the space back. And so we ended up moving to a movie theater, and that was when things started to open back up again. And then pretty shortly after they started to open back up again, they shut back down again. And so then we were in a situation with the movie theater where things were just very intense. We had the whole mask versus no mask thing. I mean, it seems like this is a different country we're in here right now. Honestly, it just seems like a different country.
Texas, baby.
Yeah. I mean, Texas, you got people driving their F-150s, and with American flag. We got people driving Priuses wearing 3 masks and a visor.
But we love them.
Well, we love them. We love them.
Come on, Emma. Come
love
on.
them.
Hold the line, girl.
We love them. But as they're driving their Prius, their visor fogs up and they crash their car. I one time saw a guy riding a push bike, I'm not joking, riding a push bike down a hill, full speed, pedaling as hard as he could, like Forrest Gump on a bike, and big mask on, no helmet. Anyway.
The incongruity.
That's where we live. That's where we live. So anyway, so we moved from, we're in the situation with this movie theater where it's just really intense, and we had all kinds of issues that from a legal sense, actually can't talk about. We had things going on that we had to get out of there. We were like, we can't be here anymore, and it's awful. So we found a new location. We've had 4 different locations in the last year. We had, in December actually, when Pastor Phil was with us, we had church in 3 different places in December. We were snowed out on the 4th Sunday of December. But the church is resilient, and we're plugging away, and we're literally just taking it one month at a time. We're not trying to be like super 5-year plan. I don't know if that's wise right now. We're just trying to build small groups and build team, get people volunteering on the team. It's been fun.
And you guys are good at that,
Relatively.
Emma.
I was just going to say, because they did like little preaching things, I wasn't coming, but I would say this. I think if anything I've learned in this season is the power of the prophetic. And I love that we're part of a movement that operates in that. And one day, if you ever want to hear our story, our whole call to Seattle came out of a prophetic dream that Drew had and out of a bunch of confirmation. We've always come back to it. That's been a well that has kept us really hydrated in the journey.
Really
and I think for me, just realizing that God is building his church. And I know we hear that, but I need to remind her that all I need to do is just attach myself to that wind and ride it, not do it in my strength, but in his. Another thing is I had to change what a win was for me in a pandemic. So for me, and this is like maybe funny, but it's true, I had 3 measures of health for me. Am I saved still? Yes, check. I know that sounds silly, but I was
most days.
No, most days. I'm like, hold on, is this still real for me? Like I had to keep coming back to that. Second thing, am I still sane? Because I know God has created me to have a soundness of mind. Most days I had to remember, no, God has called me to not live in confusion and conflict and everything. I'm called to have a sound mind. So am I saved? Check. Am I sane? Most days, check. And then the third one, am I smiling? Because I know that the joy of the Lord is my strength. So they were my measures, and that has kept us going to somewhat fruitfulness.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Can you take the mics?
I haven't actually said hi yet.
Well done. Well done. You know, those stories I find very emotional personally. These people are flipping heroes, as all of you are. It's like, this is serious, it's no joke. And, they go with great expectations, and those expectations will be fulfilled. But the journey there can be quite gruesome. So I honour all you 3 couples, except for Terrence. See, I only did that, Terrence, to bring out the joy in the room. And so the girls are great supporters of you. Probably too many girls are great supporters of you. It's ridiculously handsome. I think it's quite sinful, actually. It must be quite a problem for you. Okay.